Hi, it's Romy. Welcome to the channel, Taurus. This is your October 2021 soul story. So if you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, you might find that this reading gives you some heads up as to how to navigate the energies over the next few weeks. We're going to give you some clarity and break things down for you so you feel a little bit more empowered. So we're going to open up October with the energy of the Magician for you. And Libra season, a fellow Venus-ruled sign, is really lighting up that sixth house of well-being and service. And I think there's going to be some alterations and adjustment that you are going to be considering and reviewing in terms of how you put your work out into the world, Taurus. So if you're working for yourself or any projects or initiatives that you might be involved in your place of work right now, there's something about how you want to communicate and present that. Tweaks that are coming up, new inspiration and ideas that are going to be formed through the course of that first part of October that I think could make a real difference and give an extra little bit of shine to things that you're passionate about or invested in. Of course, it also talks about what's happening with our health and well-being. And with the Magician energy here, there is a requirement for us to look at making some adjustments. And perhaps we're going to need to be a little bit experimental as well in terms of figuring out the things that, you know, we maybe know that they're not that great for us, and yet for some reason we've just kept going regardless because it's comfortable or it's easy. So maybe we're having a little bit too much of something that's no longer agreeing with our system, or we're doing a particular type of exercise and we're not really getting any results, or we're aware of where stress is really impacting on our sleep or our vitality, and so now this is a time where you're really going to get to address it once and for all and really come to terms with something. And perhaps that might mean that there is an area that we need to really let something go, which isn't always easy, but I do feel that you're at the point where you're more ready for the change and the what is coming next, and kind of allowing yourself to breathe into the expansion of new pathways and new opportunities. And that means that you do have to let go of anything that is holding you back, weighing you down, or getting stuck literally, energetically in your physical body, in your energy field, and in how you see yourself, because it's causing limitations in your sense of value and self-worth. And we have a big full moon in Aries coming in at the 20th of the month, and of course that's a very healing release for you in that 12th house energy, and is inviting you to kind of unlock something from deeper in your subconscious about what has been keeping you stuck or holding you back. Now we've got the energy of the Page of Cups coming in here. Of course, in Libra season there's a firm focus in and around relationships and the communication, people returning from the past, but also looking again at those people who are in and around us in the present is really getting some important evaluation time for you. I see that you are interested and you are keen to want to kind of have more diplomacy, more harmony, more balance in the way that you are communicating. And there's a little bit of a quieter energy that I feel emerges at the first part of October. Now that new moon in Libra coming in on the 6th of the month, really helping to join the dots, and something's coming from that where I feel like you want a fresh start, you want a new beginning. You want to either free yourself or kind of come back together and find a meaningful, mutual, conscious way forward in some relation. Now, it's also trining with the asteroid goddess Ceres, who's working her way through Gemini right now. And she's the goddess of harvest and nourishment. And really, in this sign, she's helping you to nurture your higher mind and to really cultivate and to embrace a new kind of a language. So how you're talking to yourself, the messages that you're sending out to the world. And actually there's a beautiful creative energy that's blending with the Magician and the Page of Cups that we also want you to harness and take advantage of. This is really a time when there is no more excuses. You have beautiful gifts, and I actually have a sense that there's a bit of a bountiful Jupiterian gift coming your way when Jupiter shifts direct in Aquarius this month, and it's going to be directly related into something that you are really good at. So a gift you're already aware of, or something that's going to be discovered. But pay attention for that, because I think you're being shown, Spirit are coming along and kind of opening a pathway, opening a door and saying, here, this is how you can utilize this. And it may be something that you've sat on for some time, just not really being able to figure out the best approach or how to be of service, how to take it out to the world, where this is the month where I really think you're going to start to come into your own in terms of understanding how that can happen. Now, as we start to connect the dots and this picture begins to emerge, there is a sense of repeat so you can repair. And King of Pentacles coming in here, of course, an earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. But really what it's also showing me is there's an opportunity for you to be much more generous with yourself in terms of the investment that you want to make into something that's really important to you. So through October, you don't have to be all things to all people. You don't have to take on everything all at once. But what you do need to do is identify and really clearly express to yourself, this is my priority and this is why it matters. And I don't have any more excuses. I'm prepared and ready and willing to show up for myself. And I see the investment that you make really comes back around and pays some enormous dividends for you. So there's a sense of feeling more emotionally secure and even drawing towards you more abundant opportunities that I feel you are going to have choices. So there's more choices that are going to start to be considered as well. Now, I also want to say that there's something about this aspect of sixth house energy in Libra where we're really looking at what and whom we are devoted to and the practices that we have in place, from a ritualistic perspective that also support us to be balanced. So here we have the Page of Cups. There's beautiful news and messages that are making their way towards you, because in some instances this is also a representation of your earth energy as the King of Pentacles, you feeling in command of your environment, starting to look at where you want to control, the way in which you show up to things, and just feeling a little bit more certain than you have for some time in relation to certain aspects of your life, okay? But what we are also perhaps looking at is that, there are well wishes, there is good intentions from people that are going to start to be made available to you, because further into the month in Scorpio energy, 7th house, your mirror relationship sector is really going to bring people forth that can be advantageous to you in some way. And so your network expands, and that's something to really pay attention to, because with all of this creative and generative energy, Taurus, it can be real beneficial. Now, Venus is moving into Sagittarius, your ruling house, and on the 7th, we are taking that shift from Scorpio into Sagittarius with Venus. And here we want to value our freedom a little bit more. And you've got Chariot energy. And so I do think you're going to be seeking to extricate yourself from a situation. Could be a relationship, could just be a commitment that's been around you for some time, because I just feel like you're kind of ready for a change. You're ready for a fresh challenge, if you like. And the Chariot's urging you to kind of push yourself and to want more for yourself, to see more for yourself. I don't want you to censor yourself, Taurus. Pay attention to that, especially when we're kind of coming into that mid-month, because the energy of October is a little bit jolt, kind of lurching forward, because we have a whole series of planets who are waking up from that slumber and that back-spinning energy. So Pluto shifting direct in Capricorn on the new moon on the 6th, followed by Saturn direct in Aquarius on the 10th, and then Jupiter direct on the 17th. Even Mercury is going to go direct on the 18th. But we have a little bit of a shadow energy toward the end of the month to deal with. But remember, when these planets change course, the energy feels a little bit disruptive, and so it can take some time for us to recalibrate ourselves. So you get that jolt forward with a Chariot that says, okay, I need to start moving, I need to start going, and you'll have that sense of urgency that will be further amplified as we make our way toward that full moon in Aries as well, that has quite a lot of provocative energy coming in. So it's going to feel a bit intense and fiery, and things that need to be revealed and brought up and kind of brought into the light are going to be shown very, very clearly. Now, one of the messages that comes through for me with you in this instance, Taurus, is that sometimes it's almost like that death by 1,000 cuts. We don't really realize the true extent of how much something is harmful to us, whether it be a person's energy, a relationship we're involved in, something that we're doing, or it's been a part of our day-to-day routine. And it's those little things that keep adding up to something that over time can become much bigger and more problematic. And so I do think that October is one of these moments in the year. Remember, remember, this is like 3 months left before we kind of reach the end point of this 2021. And it's like, what do you want to achieve? Where do you want to get to? And so paying attention to how all of these, what are seemingly insignificant events, situations, feelings and emotions, limitations that are kind of getting stuck and causing you to kind of be drained or depleted or sort of holding you back, are being shown to you really clearly in October, so that you can make an informed, conscious choice to say, okay, enough is enough. Like, there's something of value here perhaps, and it's maybe not so negative that, it was really something that I felt I had to address. But at this point, the more streamlined you become, the faster you're evolving, the more your connection is strengthening, and the more spiritually awakening you're becoming. It is a case of, I don't want to repeat. I'm now ready to repair, so that I can kind of breathe life into the way that I want to live my life and how I want to move forward. Okay, so Chariot energy being really important to kind of help you find a direction and also get moving, so that you can release yourself from these things that under the light of that full moon are going to show you just how toxic they've actually been. So we have the energy of the Emperor coming in right in the center of your reading, and the themes of control, of power, of authority, and what that does to you on a personal level, on a spiritual level, how it triggers you, how it motivates you, how it rallies you. A lot of that's going to be highlighted really powerfully. Now, you are going to be tested to trust more deeply than you ever have before. But trust in yourself right now. Trust in your ability to be at the right place at the right time, to find a way through, to find a way out, and to release yourself from these kind of strings, these puppet strings that you feel perhaps maybe around you from, a significant person, perhaps the establishment, an energy outside of you. But certainly coming in right at that clear midpoint in your reading, there's also this reminder of what you have available to you in terms of your own strategy, because this is a time to kind of dive deep into that sense of wise counsel, and it's through the experiences that you've had, Taurus, so you may be looking at something through the month of October and thinking, I don't know how the hell to figure this out. Like, I don't know what this means for me. I can't figure out a way through this. And yet there is a workaround here. And if I'm going to put my trust in anyone, I'm going to put my trust in the archetypal energy of the Emperor that exists within me, not necessarily in that person perhaps represented by him, but within you. That archetypal energy of the Emperor is the one who, has the nouns, has the knowledge, has the sense of power and authority and belief. It's like when he shows up to do something, the job's going to get done. And that's that part of yourself that you kind of need to dig deeply into through the course of October, Taurus, because I feel what's going to happen is you're going to really transform that sense of certainty that, I've got what it takes, I'm going to be okay. And I don't necessarily need that to be validated. I don't need somebody to come along and feather my nest. I just need to know that I'm going to be given what I need at the right time, and I'll be in the right place to receive it, and we'll find a way through. And you will. You're going to find a workaround to this that's going to help you to discover something really new about yourself. And perhaps that's where that gift comes in as well from Jupiter, because perhaps the timing is all just going to kind of coalesce just right in that moment when you need it to most. Okay, we got the energy of the world and something beautiful coming to a point of completion here. But I also want you to set your sights a little bit further, Taurus. So there's something about that as well. I think if you're looking for answers, if you're looking for solutions, if you're looking to connect, to put something out in the world, if you're even considering kind of how far you can go, or what is the real goal for yourself in some aspect in October, the world suggests to me it can be bigger, it can be more expansive, it can be more positive, and an experience that's going to take you even further than you had initially anticipated. And of course, the world is ruled by Saturn. Now, Saturn, when it shifts direct in Aquarius, wants us to embrace the kind of endurance that we've been through as we scaled the mountain. And on an internal level, we really came to understand some of the more challenging lessons that it was bringing to our doorstep. And now as we move into the coming weeks and months, it's an opportunity for all of that work to be demonstrated by a new level of physical manifestation, and it's showing up in our world in a really beautiful way. And so you have come to a point of closure and a completion of a deeply personal cycle, and it is personal. Like, I think there's something about this month of October for you, Taurus, where you're kind of saying this to yourself. It's like, I'm really prepared and willing to kind of put myself on the line in some way, and also to show up in a way that makes me feel good about who I am. Now, your Four of Cups says to me, are you actually truly missing them, or the experience, or the situation, or the place, or is it the version that you'd imagined was everything that you needed to be right now? So I think there's a little bit of melancholy and a little bit of feeling a bit stuck, because you seem to get caught up in an energy channel that's making you reminisce or think about something, or feel the absence of it. And the other thing to keep in mind is that when we have months like October, where there's an awful lot of energy churn and change, I mean, it's really been like this throughout the whole of this year, and you might be feeling a little bit jaded and exhausted and weary anyway, but when all these planets shift, and you're kind of trying to find your equilibrium, then sometimes Spirit put us in these sort of self-imposed, like, anesthetized states, because it can stop the overwhelm. It can stop rising panic, rising anxiety, rising fear. It can stop us from kind of getting too ahead of ourselves, so that we're missing important messages and signs. And so even though it can be frustrating to sometimes find ourselves in that in-between place where we're like, everything felt like it was back on track, and then all of a sudden it's kind of ground to a halt, or I was really up for this, and then like a few days later I've just lost all my mojo. But there's something so innately valuable, because I feel like Spirit are coming in at that exact moment to connect with you in a more deep way. And you have the umbrella that's being held over you to kind of keep you in the shade, or to be protected from the rainstorm. So for me, there is a kind of energy of being protected in that energetic time. So don't be getting yourself frustrated and disconnecting from things that are important, or feeling like you've lost it, you've lost the momentum. It's simply not the case. It's just like there's something valuable that you need to tune in and listen to. And certainly in Scorpio energy, where we become even more aligned intuitively and psychically, especially as we make our way towards Samhain and Halloween at the end of the month, the veil is at its thinnest, and you are getting messages and receiving things through from Spirit much more powerfully. Your Five of Swords to me says this is a time for you to lay some ghosts to rest, literally. And a little part of yourself, I think, was lost. I think you left a fragment, a piece of you with someone, or at some, place, or there might be a part of you just mourning literally aspects of the life that you had. And yet, we have to allow change. The growth is all there is. And when growth comes in, it breaks things. It causes like that stretching, that pulling apart, and that tension and contrast is so uncomfortable. And we don't yet fully see what's behind, all of these doors that have been closed. There's new energy, there's new pathways emerging. And so there is something about you not feeling fully in control or understanding of what's happening and why it's happening at certain parts through the month. And yet it is going to come through with such a sense of clarity for you in the coming weeks. Now, Mars also shifts into the sign of Scorpio from Libra on the 30th. And here it's like we're almost challenged to do the impossible. And yet we have the focus, the drive, the intentionality to actually get it done. We really do kind of allow ourselves to forensically kind of go into the details of what matters. And especially with this focus in and around relationships, you've got a King of Wands here. So there may be a fire energy, a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, or somebody that is expressing themselves more directly, but I think you're going to have to wait to the end of the month before you start to receive that communication in a way that you feel you have something to work with, so to speak. That's kind of what's coming through. I also keep hearing this phrase, no more excuses. Now, that's either coming in, for you, no more excuses for you to be able to give yourself permission to go do what you want to do, to make the change, to allow something to happen. But it also might be a conversation you're having with someone else. I don't want to hear your excuses anymore. I need to be shown by nature of the action. You need to kind of walk your talk. And also, maybe it's in relation to kind of how you can meaningfully, consciously allow, you and someone else to move forward, either personally or professionally. So keep that in mind. But your King of Wands is also bringing a sense of vision, a sense of trust in your instinct. There's warmth and passion and energy that comes in here, and it will light the fire, but there is something important about you needing to put the ghost to rest and kind of release a pattern or a disappointment energy. Otherwise, you'll miss this coming in because you're literally turned in the opposite direction here. Even though you're being protected, there's going to be a time when you're going to have to turn around and face things. And when you do, there's like that beautiful breakthrough moment. It's really powerful, and I think you get much clearer on what it is you're devoting yourself to and what needs to change or what needs to be further invested at this point, okay? Let's take a look and see how these Oracle cards just want to join the conversation. The tribe, okay. So we have this mother giraffe, baby giraffe here, and I think, you are seeking to surround yourself with people who are starting to speak this new, beautiful, sacred soul language that you are aligning with. There are new levels of awakening and downloads that you're receiving. You're starting to tune into the messages through social media, online, and conversations that you're having with people, and you're starting to feel more and more resonance with certain individuals or certain things. And this is really a month when we are perhaps having to readdress the importance of, who we spend time with and who we're investing our energy in. And if we're trying to grow our tribe, our community, if we're trying to forge new friendships, or even look at whether our immediate, romantic relationships are going to give us that space to grow and to breathe and to evolve and to be part of a kind of a future earth consciousness that's much more positive and joy-filled and healthy and in balance than what a lot of people might, try to project or present at this time, then it's going to be really important that you start to seek out and identify what it's going to take for you to hold your own energy vibration so that you can also attract that type of a experience in for yourself. The number 8 for me is always about self-mastery as well. And so there's something that you're learning about yourself in relation to how you show up in a group or in a community, in your own tribe, that's also going to be very valuable. So, in that mirror energy of 7th house, expect to be challenged a little bit, to be provoked, to be asking yourself deeper questions about if, this is a version of you that you feel comfortable with, that you can be at peace with, and that has opportunity for expansion. So your Moonology card is balance, spirituality, and practicality. Full moon in Pisces. Now, my goodness, I defy anyone to say they weren't impacted pretty significantly by that full moon in Pisces at the end of September, followed by the equinox. So what happened at that time for you, Taurus? What was thrown up? What was revealed for you? What came to light? Because you're still working with that energy in the first part of October, but I think it's got much further reaching effects for you actually. So the information, but more about the recognition and acceptance I think that you came to about some powerful truths, are really important in terms of how you're now going to find your sense of balance moving forward. And remember, it is that aspect of you needing at this point to address both aligning with yourself spiritually and kind of continuing to allow your mind to open, but still the practical earthly forward steps that you need to make to facilitate all of the things that you're trying to manifest right now. So what I mean by that is, you still got to take care of the little things. You've still got to make sure that you're eating right and nourishing yourself and kind of taking time for creativity, for play, for rest, for balancing out your world and harmonizing it in such a capacity that you then show up to things with the best version of you. And that's how you be the antidote to so much of the chaos and the frenzy and the ugliness that's sort of pervading out there. It's just like you gotta kind of create a little bit of a spiritual bubble and haven for yourself, and allow yourself to connect into a different energy source that's going to deliver that sense of joy to you. That's going to keep you stable and balanced so that you can show up and kind of lead by example, but also present yourself and your work in a new way to the world, which is really what this month wants to ask of you. And you have the golden light ray, and look how this beautiful expression of joy is on her face here. Love and laughter, receiving and giving gifts, passionate projects. I think this is a time when you are trying to discover and fall back in love with something. Maybe before you do that though, Taurus, you have to fall back in love with a part of yourself. And once that's understood fully and you realize what that means for you, then naturally these things are going to start to bubble to the surface, and then you start to draw towards you the right people that are going to be holding space for you to continue to thrive and really blossom in that aspect. Okay, so this is a general reading for the month of October. If you'd like to join me for the extended version, Taurus, go ahead and think about a question right now that might not have come out in this main spread. We'll pull a couple of cards for you just now, and we will go into a little bit more detail in the extended reading for you in relation to that. Okay, I'm just going to clarify this main read that's come up for you just now, just beginning with a Magician here. Clarifying with the Three of Cups, Ten of Pentacles. You do have some really good ideas this month. They might not all necessarily need to be put into action in October, so keep some up your sleeves, but I really like what's coming through for you in terms of some of the future planning. Hermit energy, you are an authority in some aspect of your life. People really do seek you out as that sage. Beautiful spiritual wisdom coming your way. Got a water sign energy here, Scorpio, Pisces, Cancerian coming in. Ten of Cups, perhaps family connected here. Certainly something going on that needs to be rebalanced right now. The Chariot is kind of heading right into this Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords, Five of Cups, but you're just going to have what you need to navigate this. I'm telling you, there's going to be a workaround. The Empress and the Emperor. You have like a real vortex of power right in the center of your reading this month, Taurus. Interesting. Wands. Another Emperor. I know you're always wise with your resources, but you really need to start to address like scarcity issues, money stories, and abundance in new ways this month. I feel you're going to be doing that. A little bit of a wound that I feel is going to need to get cleaned out this month in terms of a relationship, past or present. Okay, Taurus, I'm going to wrap it up there. If you'd like to join me for the extended, you can find the link for that reading in the description box and the comment section underneath. It's over on my website. Be sure to check out your rising and your moon sign soul stories just to get a more comprehensive overview for this month. And if it has resonated, please be sure to drop me your comments, your feedback, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Thank you for showing up and supporting my work. I appreciate you. I'm going to send you beautiful blessings for October. Take care.